You can pretend to be someone else if you want. You can walk like them, talk like them, even dress like them. But if you keep pretending to be someone else, then you'll always be running away from who you really are. Times may be different today, the music may sound different today, culture may look different today, but one thing remains the same. You can either serve the gods of this culture, or you can serve the one true God, the creator of you and me. Joshua 24:15 says, "And if it is evil in your eyes to serve the Lord, choose this day whom you will serve, whether the gods your fathers served in the region beyond the river, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land you dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." The children of Israel had become confused. And when you're confused, it's easy to conform to the customs and behaviors of this world and to start serving other gods, the gods of the land you dwell in, the gods of this culture. Culture will tell you if you don't like the way you look, then use a filter. If you don't have it all together, then fake it. And if you don't like who you are, then change it. And it hurts my heart because all I see is a lot of misled people pretending to be who they think they want to be. You can pretend to be someone else if you want. You can walk like them, talk like them, even dress like them. But if you keep pretending to be someone else, then you'll always be running away from who you really are. And it's hard to receive the blessing when you're not being who God created you to be. Reminds me of the story of Jacob. We read in Genesis 25 that Rebekah, Isaac's son, was pregnant with twins. And these twins were wrestling inside her womb, the Bible tells us. The first was delivered furry with red hair, and so they call him Esau. The second was delivered holding on to Esau's heel, so they call him Jacob, heel grabber, supplanter. In this culture, being the firstborn was a big deal. I mean, it gave you birthrights and the blessing from the father and all the benefits to that. So here's Jacob grabbing onto Esau's heel, trying to be first. I mean, we're selfish in nature. We don't have to be taught how to be selfish. We come out of the womb selfish. That's why we're always saying mine, mine, mine when we're little. But here's a good question. How can you put God first in a me first world? Is that even possible? I love what Jesus said in Matthew 19. He said, "But many who are first will be last, and the last first." And you might think, well, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Jesus, have you seen Talladega Nights? If you ain't first, you're last. And Jesus is like, yeah, well, Ricky Bobby's wrong. Jacob wanted to be first with the rights and the blessing, but he's still second. So one day he talked or tricked his brother into selling him his birthright for a bowl of soup. And then later, with the help of his mother, he will deceive and trick his father into giving him the blessing. You know, he put fur on his hands and on the soft parts of his neck and trying to pretend to be hairy like his brother. And he goes in, and Isaac, his father, said, "Who are you, my son?" And he said, "I'm Esau." He didn't say, "I'm Jacob." He said, "I'm Esau," because Esau was the firstborn. Esau is who the father planned to give the blessing to. Have you ever wanted something so bad that you pretended to be someone you are not in order to get it? He received the blessing under Esau, not Jacob, who he really was. When Esau found out what his brother did, he was furious. He was mad. I mean, he wanted to kill him. And Esau was a hunter. And Jacob, he hung out in the tents, probably cooking and washing dishes. So you got one brother with a gun and another brother with a frying pan. So Jacob's mom gives Jacob some really good advice. She said, "Jacob, you better run, boy." And he did. For 21 years he ran. Never to see his mother again. Never to cook in the kitchen with his mother or wash the dishes with his mother again. Now let's fast forward 21 years later in Genesis 32. At this point, Jacob has 2 wives, 2 servants, and 11 sons. It's complicated. Verse 24 of Genesis 32 says, "And Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until the breaking of the day." Now, most scholars believe that this was a pre-incarnation of Jesus. When the man saw that he did not prevail against Jacob, he touched his hip socket, and Jacob's hip was put out of joint as he wrestled with him. I mean, Jacob was 97 years old. Then he said, "Let me go, for the day has broken." But Jacob said, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." 21 years ago, he got a blessing the wrong way, pretending to be someone he's not. But now it's time for Jacob to get a blessing for himself. All his life, he's been trying to take shortcuts. All his life he's been grabbing onto things that weren't his, but now he's grabbed onto Jesus. Years ago, I heard a story of a man who was walking along a cliff, and he slipped and fell. And as he fell, he was able to grab on to the ledge, and he's hanging there for a while. Can't figure out how he's going to get up. So he yells up, "Is there anybody up there that can help me?" He doesn't hear anything. He keeps yelling, "Is there anybody up there that can help me?" Finally, a thick voice calls back, "This is God. I can help you. Just let go and trust me." And so the man looks up and yells, "Is there anybody else up there that can help me?" Let me ask you a question. What do you need to let go of today in order to trust the Lord with your life? Are you willing to grab onto Jesus even if it's hard, even if it hurts, even if it's not trending? Maybe like Jacob, you need to say, "I'm letting go of what people think, what they say, my fake identity. I'm letting go of my past mistakes, failures, and insecurities. I'm letting go of this culture and what it says I should be." Look at your neighbor and say, "Let it go, let it go." The children of Israel had become confused about who they were, who they should serve, and what they should hold on to. God told them back in Deuteronomy 13:4, "You shall walk after the Lord your God and fear him and keep his commandments and obey his voice, and you shall serve him and hold fast to him." Exodus 20 verse 3 says, "You shall have no other gods before me." Yet here they are, once again, in the promised land, practicing idolatry. Idolatry in its simplest form can be defined as this: serving, loving, desiring, or trusting anything apart from the one true God to fulfill your needs. I would be willing to bet that what you spend your money on, your resources on, or your time on, you worship. So ask yourself these questions. Do I love or treasure anything or anyone more than God? Do I look to anything or anyone to meet my needs instead of God? Do I seek fulfillment or satisfaction from anything outside of God? There are times in our life, like right now, where we have to make a decision. Choose this day whom you will serve. The choice is yours. I can't make it for you. Joshua couldn't make it for the children of Israel, but he made it very clear what he chose, didn't he? Yeah, at the end of verse 15, he said, "But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord." What a great thing to say. I mean, it shouldn't just be something you put on the wall. It should be a lifestyle. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And that's my prayer for each and every one of you today who's watching this video or listening to this audio. The world is full of choices to relieve our pain and solve our problems, but they're all temporary. I know because I've tried a lot of them, and they don't last. They're not sustainable or scalable or whatever you want to say. The only permanent thing, the only permanent fix for all of our problems, all of our needs, is Jesus Christ. Let today be the day that you decide to serve him with all your heart. I promise you, you won't regret it. For more videos like this, click on the card up top, or I'll put the playlist down below in the description. If you got value from this, don't forget to hit the like button. And if you're looking for tips and tools to build a life on purpose, then please subscribe to this channel and let us speak life together.